There is no guarantee for success, but there are ways to get closer to it when you do the right things. Who you surround yourself with is just as important as what you do. Finding the right people, the right classes, the right activities, and taking the right tests are all decisions that shape your future. Find out more today on Destination University with Dr. Cynthia Colon. Dr. Colon and her guests will give you the tips you need, whether you're a student, parent, or educator. Now, here is your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon.
You're listening to Destination YOUniversity, a podcast for college-bound teens and the parents, mentors, and educators who support them. If that is you, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon, TEDx speaker, college admissions strategist, and author of the best-selling book, Be Committed, Get Admitted. Welcome to Destination YOUniversity. We help college-bound teens create an action plan, become interesting applicants, and write compelling essays that increase acceptance letters. We do this through online or live group classes and private counseling. Consider me your happy success expert. Being here today already tells me that you are looking to get ahead, find practical advice, and take action steps. You are growing the community of happy and well-informed families across the nation. So thank you for joining the movement. Welcome to season 9. Holy smokes. Well, we do our weekly Wednesdays, and that is going to continue, but we're going to do a little spin on the Wednesdays. We're calling this series Better We Wednesdays. I'm interviewing former parents, educators, and college admission folks that can offer key tips and strategies on how to become a better parent, a better teacher, a better counselor, a mentor, or a better student. They'll do that by sharing their own story. I'm telling you, whether you have a college-bound teen that's in middle school or high school, you're going to find valuable information with people that have chosen to give insights and be completely candid. This is gold, I promise you. Thanks for joining us today. So let's dive in. Oh, I'm so excited to spend time with you, Beck. How are you? How's the weather in New York?
Everything is good. It snowed and now we're expecting rain, but it's all good. A little flooding coming our way. We'll get through it.
Yeah, you'll get through it for sure. Well, thanks for joining us here at Destination YOUniversity. It's been a few years since your daughter, Jules, graduated from high school. And so we're kind of doing this little mini series of kind of where are they now, but it's really, I want to know where you are now as a parent, and you can look back. And I think, you know, with anything, it's you know, hindsight is 20/20. So I think you can be really helpful to parents out there who are about to embark on this journey, whether they're parents of a sophomore or a junior, or you know, getting to be that senior year. So are you ready to talk about your journey with Jules? Okay, so first, before we talk about Jules, I'd love to the listeners to know a little bit about you. Like, did you attend college? If so, where? Share a little bit about your own background.
So I did. I went to Skidmore College in Saratoga Springs, New York. And it was probably the best 4 years of my life. And so I think as I was ready for my kids to go to college, I wanted them to be able to experience a college experience the same way I did, because I had so much fun at college. It was really a defining couple of years for me.
And which is great. And full disclosure, Becky and I were college roommates when we were both at Columbia. And so we've known each other for quite a bit. And I almost feel like Jules was a little bit of like an adopted niece. But so one of the biggest things I know for me and my friends, people our age, that once it got to be time for, you know, your kids, your Jules in this case, to go, you know, when did you know that, like, oh, you needed to start thinking about this or planning for her? Or, you know, when did it hit you?
That's a really good question. Probably the end of freshman year, beginning of sophomore year, when I really thought, oh, we better start thinking about this. But it helped that Jules was super, super academic and into school. She loved it. She loved school. She knew what she wanted to do. So that was a little bit helpful because she helped to lead the way a little bit. But I mean, honestly, I think you do have to start thinking about this by freshman year because everything, they only have freshman, sophomore, and junior year to really make themselves who they are and put that on their application. So probably end of freshman year, early sophomore year, we started really trying to think about things and line up her classes so she could take what she wanted to take, by the time she was a senior. And she was excited to do that.
Good. Ooh,
yeah.
That's so good. You had a self-motivated.
I did.
Child. So that was working
helpful
for you. Yeah. That was
maybe not the second time around, but the first time around, super motivated. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to the second one next year, right? Okay, so Jules was self-motivated with that, which was helpful. And I'm going to just punctuate your point. So listeners, what Becky just is talking about is getting started. She said you have freshman, sophomore, junior year. Many families, when I work with private families, I remind them, your kid is going to graduate with 8 semesters of grades, but will apply to college with 6 semesters of GPA. So freshman, sophomore, junior year, that's really it. So, okay. So fast forward, when did you, I want to say it was her sophomore year that you guys went on a college trip. Is that right? Okay. So where did you
actually, so it was the summer before junior year. So we just finished sophomore year. It was the summer before junior year. And part of the reason I did my trips then was because I worked full time and I knew I had to get stuff done before, because I couldn't take so much time off of work, and she hated missing school. So I thought it was a really great time to go on a trip, because some of those kids don't want to miss school. And I'm in New York. Part of New York has a SUNY program, a State University of New York. So I definitely wanted her to see those, which are a little less expensive than some of the private schools. So we did a northern trip, and we did University of Rochester, Cornell University, SUNY Binghamton, which is State University of New York at Binghamton. I think those are the 3 we did that trip. And I remember vividly, she got out of the car at Cornell, the second school, and said, "Oh my God, this feels like college." So whatever it was for her, I don't know what that feeling was. I thought Rochester was beautiful. Like, I love them all, but she just stepped out of the car and said, "This feels like college." So that was really interesting to me because there was her goal. That's what she set her mind to. Which I feel lucky in that sense too. I always compare college to trying on a wedding dress. Like, when you put it on, she got out of the car, stepped on the ground and said, "This is it." So yeah. So I think once we saw Cornell, everything had to match up to all those things in her head and her feeling of when she got out of the car, of what she liked, what she didn't like, and just that overall feeling.
Yeah.
So that a great trip, and I think so important.
Well, and also, I think it's very important too. And I also, I subscribe to that, but I also, not everybody has the luxury of flying.
No.
To like visit 20 colleges. So doing the Goldilocks method, right? You went to a state school, you went to a private school, you went to sort of a range of schools, which I think
very big range.
Yeah, that was really, really smart of you to do. Go, Mom. Now, okay, so that being said, so she, if you're listening, you're thinking, okay, so she put her mind to, an Ivy League school, Cornell. But there's merit to that, right? She was there, she's on campus, she's can visualize it, she could see it, right? I'm very big on the whole woo-woo, like mindset and visualization. But then how did that translate to when she went back to school, and did she really understand the gravity of what she was trying to accomplish and like matched up everything she did that way?
Wow, that's a really good question. Maybe. I think she may have just had her heart set on that because she must, you know, she was academic though. Again, she loved school. She's self-motivated, and she did. I guess she'd set her mind to, I want to go to Cornell, um, and she did. But which was amazing, and we'll get to that part later. But she set her mind to it, and tried to meet all the requirements she could to meet the GPA and do all the studying she could do to make her dream come true.
Yeah.
You know, we don't have a lot of control over, if we have some control, but she also got to apply during COVID, and there was other factors at play during her college experience and well, her high school experience and applying to colleges. So
Yeah.
but it was a lot. It was very touch and go there for a while, because other, you know, schools that she liked, not as much as Cornell, she didn't get into, and it was a very scary, nerve-wracking, hardest part of being a parent ever, I think.
Yeah, say more about that. That's one of my big questions is like, you know, we've interviewed Jules, and for everyone listening, I'll direct you to what episode she is, and you can listen to her episode. But what is senior like for you, like for the parent? You know, I mean, are there highs and lows? Like, how does that go?
Well, if I can put in a plug for your program, because I have to, honestly, the college essay boot camp was probably the best like decision we made, because it did make senior year so much easier. So Jules had about 4 or 5 essays done before she started her senior year. She had her common application done before she started senior year, which was a huge load off, because I don't know. I mean, we applied to college as old as we are, a long time ago, right? So things have changed for sure. And I didn't know how to do the common app. She would ask me, I'm like, I don't know anything. So and again, it's not because I know Dr. Cologne, Cindy, it's not because I know her and we go way back. Like, it was truly probably the best experience we did. Like, SAT tutors, this and that, fine. This was definitely made senior year so much easier, because she wasn't struggling from day one to get her essays done. And she applied to a couple of places early action. We as a family decided not to do early decision, because finances are a big part of where she could go to school. And I wanted to see if she gets money at different places, and that, you know, was going to play a part in making her decision of where she was going to go. So we decided she wasn't going to apply early decision anywhere. Was that a good decision or not? As I think moving forward to my next child, do I want her to? Kind of, yes, because there was still a lot of stress through the senior year for Jules, watching her get in, not get in, get waitlisted, whatever was going on. And it was a long process. She was so picky that she would, you know, fix her, well, the main essay was done, but all the supplementals, she worked on them and still put her applications in at the last minute, which drove me nuts, because I was like, you're done, just hand it in. But she didn't do that. So it was still very stressful as a parent, waiting for them to get in that application, complete it, press send, know that she's applied. It was definitely emotional. And then the getting in part and where she got in and making a decision was definitely probably one of the most emotional, hardest experiences I think I've had as a parent, honestly. Because, you know, picking where you're going to spend the next 4 years, and for us, money was a big part. So
yeah, you know, every year I get a call around October from a parent that's like, you know, I need your help, and they go on, and I'm like, it's October, like, you know, this is pretty late. So I hear what you're saying, and I didn't pay her to say that, say all of those things.
No, totally not.
I remember, I think you guys bought the middle package, and which came with some extra time during the fall. And
yeah,
I always clearly remember, there's always several students, but the student has to map out all of the supplemental essays that they have, that they need to write. And then one of our sessions, just for that entire hour, all we do is go through all of the essays she had produced from camp and anything else. And we sort of like plug and play, like, okay, you're going to use this one for this, whatever. And then there's still, I mean, parents just have no idea, I think, just how much time and effort all of this takes. So, yeah.
But had we not done those essays, oh my gosh, the time would have been even so much more, you know?
Well, and listeners, I'll direct you to the link as well, but her essays are so good. To her main essay is one, it still gets me choked up every time I read it. So her main essay is about her bike. Just it's not really about the bike, but and the baking essay. So there's a link that you can get access, and you can see the full thing. But okay, so fast forward, she gets in You're a Nervous Wreck. I think the best advice for any parent is just like whatever you can do to help support your child and get them, you know, some coaching so that you don't have to be the super nag or whatever.
Yes, I 100% agree, because you don't want to be the one nagging them. You want someone else to be nagging them for you, because you want to be that safe space where they can, you want them to tell you things, how they're feeling about the process. You don't want them to be annoyed with you all the time. So yes, you can nag them, but not.
Yeah, no, it was very smart to be able to be her cheerleader and support, because it was hard. You know, she didn't get, and I think so. Obviously, we've already given away, not that it was a secret. You know, Jules is currently at Cornell, and which is fantastic because her dream came true. But it wasn't, you know, like parents, if you're listening, anybody that I've ever worked with, and anyone that you probably know that was admitted to an Ivy type institution, also probably got at least waitlisted or denied some other.
Yep.
So that was true for Jules. And so, you know, you just don't know about this process. But anyway, so fast forward. So what I'd love for you to share, if you are okay sharing, is that decision. You already mentioned that finances were going to play a big role.
Yeah.
So Jules gets her dream, which is your dream. As a parent, your dream is that her dream come true.
Right.
And at the same time, you know, knowing, because I know your family, you know, this was a family. I got to be in on this little family meeting here, but it was kind of a family meeting of like, okay, so you tell the story. So she gets in, and you and Jules' dad, Paulie, had to tell her what?
Well, we can't pay for all of Cornell. But you also got into SUNY Binghamton, the State University of New York at Binghamton, which is half the price. So that's a huge difference. So we had a discussion and said, you know what, we'll pay for what Binghamton would cost, and you're gonna have to figure out how to pay for the other half, with support from us, obviously. But you know, if you want your dream to come true, you have to make some sacrifices and get extra jobs or do work study at school or become an RA or whatever those cases may be. And you know, as a parent, I couldn't pull away what she worked so hard for. You know, I guess money's just money, and you make it work somehow. You do. Like, loans are loans, and if I'm paying them back till I'm 70, I'm paying them back till I'm 70, because yeah, you want to see your child happy, and she worked so hard to get to what she wanted. So yeah, we did what we can do.
Yeah. Well, I love that you were, you know, honest. I mean, when students are off to college, I mean, they're adults now. Technically, you know, they're 18, they're adults. And I remember she and I had a conversation separately too, and, you know, brainstormed all the ways. And I said, you know, at the end of the day, it's your choice, but you know that you're going to either walk away with loans, or you're going to have to, like you said, you know, take classes in the summer, become an RA, all those things. So, you know, but at least she made an informed decision. And
Definitely.
so you guys being open and candid and honest with her, and I think you got the grandparents involved, and everybody was sort of, it takes a village. And so, look, this is what we can all do, and the rest is up to you. So
and like you said, like, we really, when is decision day usually? May 1st? Is that usually when decision day? She decided, I think, on April 30th or May 1st. Like, it really was down to the wire. It really, like, yeah. So that, I think, was the most stressful too. So many people get in, they know it's their number one choice. They're like, okay, I'm going. But I never thought we'd get to this point where it was literally down to like the hour where she had to make that decision. So it was extremely stressful.
I think that's just Jules. She just, you know, she probably knew, but she just overthought it. So
oh my God, totally overthought it. Yeah.
What's you've said a few things, but I have two last questions, and the first is what's the one thing you really would love for parents to know?
Oh my gosh. Prepare, get as much done over the summer so the kids can have a fun senior year. And totally not purposely a plug. I really like, I do have another one coming up. She'll be a senior next year. So I honestly, the boot camp was so helpful because there was a mock interview, there was the Common App, there were the essays. It's a stressful week, and the kids are going to work hard, but prepare. If you can. Do you have to go visit all the schools? No. And then a lot of our things, I do think it was helpful. And we went to some during COVID when kids weren't even on campus, just to like walk to the campus and see what it's like. Not an official tour, not an official visit, but we just wanted to have her step on campus and feel it, see what the town's like, see what the city's like, if you can do that, because I think those were really helpful. Because it's so abstract looking at pictures, I think, and hearing what you can. So you're just preparing, and that was very helpful. So I'm trying to take that advice for myself and do the same with my next one, of our next trip all planned. But
well, that's good. My last question is, what's next for you? You've already shared that you have, your youngest, your last one, coming through as a senior, as a rising senior.
Yes.
So, we'll talk about her next year, right? But for you, as a parent, are you looking forward to, what comes after this? Are you sad about it? What kind of ups and downs do you go through when your firstborn leaves, or in thinking about when you are an empty nester? What's next for you?
That's a hard question. I am having issues with that. Interestingly, they'll both be graduating at the same time. One will graduate college, one will graduate high school at the same time. So Jules, who's at Cornell, is looking at grad school, and I'm hoping she gets right in and continues on, doing what she wants to do. Otherwise, I will not be an empty nester. So I'm nervous for that, honestly, to see how things, I'm excited for both of them. And I think this whole process, it works out usually the way it should work out for the kids, and letting them have as much independence as they can to do that. It's hard though to let go. It's super hard because I went through college, I went through grad school. I know how it works. Of course, I want my kids to go where I went and experience what I want, but allowing them to choose and do their own thing and find their own interests is super important.
Yeah.
So I'll be fine.
Oh gosh. Well, actually, you know what? Well, I think I skipped I skipped over a few questions because I really wanted you to tell the story about the financial stuff. But we should say that it will, because this is not always true, but it did work for Jules. She's super happy. Before we went live, Becky and I were just chitter chatting, just catching up on life, and you shared that Jules just went back to school like 2 weeks early.
Yeah. For recruitment. So I miss her. Yeah. It's just so nice to see them though, finding their thing and doing what they do and becoming more independent. And it's been great.
She's in a sorority. She's in a sorority, and
she's in a sorority at Cornell. She's organizing the recruitment for the freshmen for a second semester freshmen at Cornell. So they can, rush and do that whole Greek life thing, which is completely foreign to me because I didn't have that at my college. So, it's also interesting, like, yes, I did have my own college experience, but nothing like what she's having because I didn't have a Greek life. And so trying to help her and support her in things I have know nothing about has also been challenging. So whether you know the college process or don't, once they get there, there are also going to be things you don't know. And but they figure it out. They're smart. You know what? These kids are smart. They're tech savvy. They know what to do. They know a lot more than we do. So they'll all figure it out.
Well, I mean, what a great way to end this, because So here's the truth. Those of you who are listening, I always like to sort of wrap it up with like a good tip, good tale of truth. And Becky, you just heard the tale from Becky, but the tip is that she said clearly was to prepare. But the truth is, as a parent, there are always going to be things that you don't know. In this particular case, with this particular parent that I interviewed, we're doing this series where I'm, going back to my parents. Not all of them went to college, but Becky did. But it's interesting that she said there were things that, through the process that she didn't know about, and actually once they're off to college, there are things that she didn't know about. So you're never going to know everything. You don't have to know everything. That's why there are people here to help you. So I feel like that's really the truth. And I think Becky's a really great model for involving as many people. It really does take a village. And I think you really turned to people who support you in this process. And you had people who support Jules. So yeah. Awesome.
Thank
All right.
you.
Well, thank you so much for taking, I know it's late your time, but
okay.
Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be talking soon because we should probably book a little appointment with the next one sometime.
Yeah, we should.
Sometime next month after your trip. So, all right. Well, wave goodbye to everyone.
Bye.
All right. Thanks to everyone. Remember to tune in next week, same time, same place, for Destination YOUniversity. Wherever you are, may you have a happy and sunny day. Bye for now. Oh my goodness. Wow. That is all I have for you today, my friends. Thank you for tuning in to Destination YOUniversity. I'm Dr. Cynthia Colon, your happy success expert. If this episode has in any way helped, fueled, or inspired you, please share this episode with 3 people in the next 30 minutes. Thanks for listening this week. You can subscribe to Destination YOUniversity wherever you get your podcast. And while you're there, leave us a review. It sure does help a lot. By subscribing and reviewing, you're helping to grow the community of informed families across the nation. Thank you for joining the movement. And if you haven't already binge listened to our previous seasons, do it. If you know an 8th grader or a high school student, dive right in and take every piece of advice so that that student can become the most engaging, interesting, and compelling college applicant. I suggest you start with episode 1, where I interview my mother. I promise you'll love her. Everyone does. Okay, once again, if you found value today, please share this episode with 3 families in the next 30 minutes. I'll be sure to see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, wherever you are, may you have a happy and sunny day. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening this week to Destination YOUniversity. Be sure to join Dr. Cynthia Colon again and get one step closer to your success.